Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Actually, the sound of salawat is way less than the sound of our discussion which was happening before. So can we again try recite the salawat again? Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Another louder salawat in honor of Sayyida Fatimatu Zahra salamullahi alayha. I think if this was louder, let's see if we have more louder than this for the early zuhur of Imam of our time, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala ahli baytihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. La siyama ala baqiyatillahi fil aradhin. أما بعد فقال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا رطب ولا يابس إلا في كتاب مبين. Respected brothers, sisters, because many of you are like same age as mine, consider I'm not very old, and my brothers who are younger to me. My name is Sayyid Abid Jaffery. Today we are going to have just a little bit of interactive discussion on what tafsir is and discuss a little bit about tafsir of Surah Fatiha. Trust me, I'm not going to give you anything new because I don't know anything new. We are going to discuss the same things that we always hear. But among those same old things that we hear, we are just going to contemplate, ponder upon them to get our understanding, and we feel later on if our understanding have increased or not. So, the verse of Quran that I have recited is the same one that you have on your screen from Surah An'am, verse number 59, in which Allah says all the details of the verse, that the knowledge of unseen is with Allah. He knows everything. He knows even a leaf that falls from the tree. Everything, details there. Because of the time constraint, I'm going a little bit faster. And also, on the other hand, he says, the knowledge of every dry and wet exists in Quran. So if we look at everything in the world that exists, it will be in the category of either it will be something moist, dry, or that belongs to land, or something that exists in the water, seas, ocean, river, wherever. So what Allah is saying is, this Quran contains knowledge of everything that exists. At the same time, it's this book, there is no doubt in this, and this is guidance for the pious, for the muttaqeen. So our purpose for the discussion of tafsir is basically how do we get guidance from Quran? And one such aspect is tafsir of Quran. Actually, I'll stand up because that's better. So in saying that, there are 5 practical steps, 5 ways that we can implement Quran in our life or use it for our guidance. And it's not rocket science, it's going to be very simple steps. First one is making a connection with Quran. We don't realize that we can actually make connection with Quran. I tell you an example. For example, when we try and do istikhara, when we try and look for some of the verses, you will realize that the verses of Quran that's coming it looks like we are communicating. Doing an istikhara about something, to do it or not. And imagine if your niyyah was something related to buying XYZ. And then Quran's verse comes up that explains about what are the different bounties of Allah that you can deny. And then you feel like, wow, there is a connection. We are talking. There are many other examples. So let's talk more on that. But second point, what we can do is read. It's very important. If we don't read, we will not be able to understand the connection has been established. Then once we actually make a connection with Quran and read, then only we will be able to ponder on what we actually read. And once we ponder, then we will have a situation which we can implement in our life. And if we implement that in our life, we become ambassadors of Allah. We become ambassadors of Quran, implementing the knowledge of Quran in our life. Now let's talk about these 5 practical steps very briefly and what tafsir is before we go towards Surah Fatiha, inshallah. Are you all with me? If this is all okay so far, please recite a salawat. And this is another trick, okay? Because salawat will be recited either way, even if you don't follow. So that's the trick of speakers. They'll say, if this is okay, please recite salawat. You will end up reciting anyway. But the sound of your salawat will give me an indication that the discussion is okay and you are following it. So let's keep the consistency of the sound of your salawat if we are together, inshallah. Okay? So one of the important things to start talking about is establishing the connection with Quran, which is very important in our life before we do anything else. I'll actually keep that going on my front screen as well. Because first and important thing is, it is the book of Allah. Everything is from Allah. Allah is saying all the knowledge exists in Quran. That becomes an important thing to establish connection. We ask Allah, Rabbi zidni ilma, is nothing but asking Allah that please give me ability to establish connection with Quran. Give me ability to understand what you are talking to me through Quran. Because we know this is the book of Allah. And who is this book for? This is for me. This is for you. This is for all of us. So if we know this book is for me, then it is important for me to take that initiative to establish the connection, because it's mine. If it's mine, then I take an initiative to establish the connection. And then why this is sent? Is there anyone who can give a guess why this Quran have been revealed, why it has been sent for us? Do we need it? Feel free to just say it. You don't have to worry about raising the hand. Anyone? From the girls, from the boys. Why? Yeah? Anyone? Why do you think Quran have been revealed for us? Guidance, yeah? Anything else that you can think of? Yes? So we can follow the right path. In short, if we have an exam, this is our syllabus. If we have our life, then this is code of conduct for our life. So we see different catalogs, we see different manuals which has details of everything. This is manual for our life that contains everything. And now that it contains everything, this gives us success, what to do and what not to do. And that's why one of the important aspect becomes is, now can I trust this book? Yes. Because it's from Allah, it has been sent for me, and it gives me success, and I have assurance that there have not been changes in Quran. That's why I trust this book. And that's why I make connection with Quran. Now, once I make connection with Quran, that was our first. The second step is read. I am sure all of you know the importance of reading Quran, so I'm going really fast on this one. There's been many rewards mentioned about recitation of Quran. One such example is this narration which says, how many rewards just for reading? 190 rewards, 19 letters, if we are talking about just one word, because each letter there is a narration that says 10 rewards. In the same way, there are many narrations that talk about recitation of Quran. Even Quran have rewards if we listen to it. What we hear, if we actually give attention to it, we get sawab of listening to it. If we just look at it, not reading, not doing anything, not listening, just look at it with our eyes, there is a reward just for looking at Quran. If we touch it, of course we can only touch after doing wudu. If we just touch Quran, there is a reward just for touching Quran as well. And also there is reward for recitation and listening to it. So then it becomes ponder, think, contemplate on what we read. There's another place where it says, Quran curse those who recite Quran and not follow. Because if we actually contemplate and think about what's mentioned in Quran, that becomes our direction towards guidance. Are you all with me? Okay, please recite the salawat. Then it becomes important to apply in our life. Application of Quran comes in many ways. There are du'as in Quran. There are many examples in Quran about respecting elders, respecting parents, rights of different believers, rights of people, whether behaving with others nicely, not lying, not backbiting, how to do trade, how to have your social life. There's so much in Quran. If we start application in our life, that's why that tradition from Rasulullah Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which he says he will complain that people have abandoned my Quran and not following it. So it becomes important application for it. Now once we apply, Imam Ali says, you are now ambassador. Congratulations. Step 1, 2, 3, 4. That means now you are ambassador of the knowledge of Quran. You are ambassador of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam implementing the knowledge of Quran. And I will skip this tradition. And of course, after that, we all know the details of Quran, that it's two parts for it, Tanzil and Inzal. If you don't know, then I will skip this as a homework. Let's try find out. I'll just say in one word, Tanzil is gradual revelation. Inzal is together. And it was gradually revealed to people in 23 years. Is this correct? Am I right here? 23 years. Now, in the same way, how many surahs are there in Quran? We all know. How many? I know elders will know. How many surahs are there in Quran? 114. And how many times there is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim in Quran? Yes? 113. Why? There are 114 surahs. So Surah Tawbah doesn't have Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Is it correct? Yeah? 115. Why? Okay, one surah has two Bismillah. Which surah? Yes? Someone was saying something. Elders can step in now, if you know. So there are 114 surahs. Surah Tawbah doesn't start with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, but Surah Naml starts with Bismillah, and also there is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, where Hazrat Sulaiman is writing letter to the Queen of Saba. And he starts with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So Surah Naml has two Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Now, how many Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim are there in Quran? But Surah Tawbah doesn't have Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So raise your hand. How many of you agree there are 114 surahs in Quran? Raise your hand. How many you believe there are 113 Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim? Okay, no one. Raise your hand. How many of you think there are 115 times Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim? Because if you minus Surah Tawbah, how many surahs are there? 113. That starts with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Now one surah has two. So how many Bismillah it becomes? 114. So please recite salawat, everyone. Now another important aspect of Quran that stays is there has been 1400 years and the Arabic text of Quran have been preserved. There has been no changes in Quran. There have been many other scriptures that had changes. As an example, all Qurans throughout have been same. Even the different scripts people had in their own times dates back up to 568 AD. And even those who do memorization of Quran, the Huffaz, they had the same Quran that they memorized. And these Quran that dates back, how many have you been to the shrine of Imam Rada alayhi salam? Have you seen the library over there? There is a library that displays the old script of the Quran attributed to Imam Ali alayhi salam. Not only that, even there is a Quran in the library of Ayatollah Mar'ashi Najafi, which is in Qom. Immediately from the back entrance of the Qom, there is a big library. I have personally seen this. And this Quran dates back to 392 Hijri. And that 568 AD becomes which time, do you know? Any elders from the back? Maybe Raza or anyone. What do you think 568 AD might have been the time? Was it the time during the time of Imam, any of the 11 Imams, or after? Any guess? You can do a wild guess. Or you can do Google. 568 AD into Hijri. We have 30 more seconds. Anyone? No one's using Google, ChatGPT, any AI tools? Yeah, what year of Hijri this could be? Yeah? Yeah, around, I think it's 279 or something, 270. Is it correct? If you guys have laptop on the back, if you check 568 AD into Hijri. So what it means, This is the time of Ghaibat-e-Sughra. Not even Ghaibat-e-Kubra. This is the time of, what was it? Which year? 270 something, right? 237. No, I think when I checked last time, it was something 270. Because Ghaibat-e-Kubra started from later on. So this was still during Ghaibat-e-Sughra. So now imagine, we have a proof of Quran that dates back to that time. Now, another important thing that comes in Quran is the classification of the verses of Quran are in two types. Anyone can guess which ones are the Makki verses, which one are the verses which are called Madani? Easy. Those which were revealed in Mecca are Makki verses. Those which were revealed in Medina after the migration of Rasulullah is Madani, because this has happened gradually. So those which came in Makkah, mainly, those verses talk about Tawheed, talk about Nabuwwat, talk about our Aqaid, talk about our theology. And these verses talk about belief and usul-e-din, and they are short as well. Whereas these verses, they talk about Shari'at, Islamic laws, dealing with people, laws about our prayers, all of our furu'ideen, all of, because this is after migration, this is after so many Muslims are there with Rasulullah. So this needed how to be different laws in social interactions, in dealing our businesses, in dealing with people, in running the government, and all those things. Does it make sense? I'm sure you might have heard of this. So after that, it's an important fact which is absolutely wrong and rumor that spreads a lot. The Quran that we have is actually a Quran from Amirul Mu'mineen. There's no one else who were qualified enough to have a Quran like Amirul Mu'mineen. Yes, Amirul Mu'mineen did actually prepare a Quran which was tanzili. It was how each verse were revealed in that index, but that was not accepted by the Khalifa. So the Quran that Abdullah ibn Mas'ud came forward with, which was accepted by the Khalifa, by the Caliph, and ascribed to the Caliph, that it was the Caliph who prepared that Quran was approved by Imam Ali alayhi salam to Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. And because it's coming from Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, a companion of Rasulullah, not from Imam Ali, it was accepted. So technically, that's why we have a proof that we follow a Quran that is approved. This is very sensitive and very important. If some of you may know, if you don't know, but remember this information, it's very crucial and important. Please recite a salawat, everyone. We'll finish quickly in 5 minutes. Are you guys all tired, hungry? Yeah, that sounds that yes. So that's why you keep reciting salawat so that you get more energy, okay? So after this, we'll go really fast. Now, what do you think tafsir is? Do you think any of us can do tafsir of Quran? Yes? Does it mean translation? No. Then it will be translation, not tafsir. So Imam says tafsir means, translation is explanation, word to word, translate what the verse is saying. Whereas tafsir is explanation and further understanding of that translation. So what that includes is a lot: explanation, elaboration, commentary, what each word, each letter of that word can denote. All of those aspects comes under tafsir. And there is also another word of ta'wil that I will not get into discussion to save our time, but we will talk about tafsir later on. So basically, tafsir will have different things. Some of them will include what the matan means, the lexical meaning of that Arabic word. And there are many words which will have multiple meanings, and what could possibly be the right meaning for the sentence over here. For example, punctuation also makes a big impact in simple sentences. Do not do this. Whereas if you're using punctuations different way, it changes the sentence. There are many sentences like that. If you're talking to someone and you're trying to say, do not go do this, you actually do not do this. The style has changed the meaning. So that's why it also contains the historical context, what it belongs to, which is called Shan-e-Nuzul. It also includes what are the different authentic traditions about that verse of Quran. So basically, tafsir, it's not easy to be done. If someone wants to do tafsir, then there are many qualifications needed, and some of the prerequisites are having the lexical knowledge of Arabic, understanding the Shan-e-Nuzul, analyze tafasir, and also have the knowledge of traditions. So what we are doing now, do you think? Are we doing tafsir? No. We are doing reflection of tafsir. We are just reading tafsir, going through the commentary of Quran, doing a reflection on that. We are not doing tafsir because we do not have knowledge of Arabic literature. We do not have knowledge of hadith that it's required. We do not have knowledge of Shan-e-Nuzul. We do not know what different verses of Quran, what was the context around that time compared to history. So that's why what we're doing is we're going through different tafasir, reading them, reflecting and understanding that verse, what it's explained by them. Does it make sense? Please recite the salawat. Now, as time is going, the sound of salawat is telling me that we are more hungry. Trust me. But I guarantee you, we're going really fast. I'm not going into the details of tafsir. I'm giving very few points, which are very basic. And some of you may have already heard of them. And the reason we're saying this is, in one of my meeting with Ayatollah Jawad Amoli, does any of you know which tafsir Ayatollah Jawad Amoli has been preparing? Anyone? A detailed tafsir of our time. It's prepared a really comprehensive, detailed tafsir. It's called Tasneem. It's getting translation done as well. At the moment, it's in Farsi and Arabic. So he said, Insan, human being, on the day of resurrection will regret one thing. Some of the things he didn't knew that if I knew I would have done are very straightforward. He will not regret for that because I didn't knew if I would have done that, that would have been my success. But he will realize at that time that there have been many small, straightforward things that I knew. This was simple. I knew this answer. But I just left it aside. It's very simple. And I will regret that on the day of resurrection, on the day of judgment, that I knew this, I knew this, that I can spend time with Quran, make connection, connect with my Imam. But if I do it, it will be success. Now with Surah Fatiha, this was revealed in Mecca and it has 7 verses. How many of us here knows, I mean, we all know Surah Fatiha, but do we know the translation of Surah Fatiha? Do we know? Are they? Can you raise hand? How many of you do you think you know the translation of Surah Fatiha? I mean, you have read at least once. I am sure. Come on. There can be few hands raised when I say, have you read at least once? Yes, because many times we recite translation at least once. And it's important. Every day our prayers is compulsory to recite Surah Fatiha in every namaz in 2 rakats, not only once, 2 times. In every namaz, first rakat and second rakat. That's how important Surah Fatiha is. And it's only 7 verses, but it has very deep meaning. I do not have time to go into the deep meaning, but I'll finish my discussion on the overview of what Surah Fatiha contains as a mind mapping. And inshallah, if we get opportunity, we can talk about each verse in detail. Right? As a mind mapping, you will notice that Surah Fatiha, on one hand, it has many names. For example, Ummul Kitab. For example, Sab'i Mathani. For example, many other names. But if we contemplate, Surah Fatiha contain most of our usul-e-din. It reflects on Tawheed. It reflects on mercy of Allah. It talks about the right path and guidance, imamat and nabuwwat. It also teaches us how to have our hope with Allah, how to ask Allah, how to praise Allah. So that's why you will notice that this surah is not only an introduction, but it's teaching a relationship of man with Allah, how we should use that. And then it's talking about the guidance, that it's not easy, by talking about the guidance of those upon whom Allah has sent His bounties. It also talks about essential characteristics of Allah, some of the sifat which are very important. It also talks about how to seek Allah, that there is no one. We recite in many du'as, no one I see who is able to help me, but I have faith, I have confidence that Allah, you can help me. When I have no other way anyone can help me, I know you can help me. I believe in you, I do your worship, and I seek help from you. In the same way, it reminds us about the day of judgment, that everything is from Allah and is everything returning to Him. There is going to be the day of judgment. And when we have this discussion about the verse of the guidance, Siratul Mustaqim, it also reminds us of our 12th Imam of our time. One thing that we can do is, we can also recite Surah Fatiha and gift it to Imam of our time. So let's end this discussion by reciting Surah Fatiha and gifting to Imam al-Zamana, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif, followed by reciting dua for our Imam, inshallah. Any volunteer who would like to come and recite Surah Fatiha? Anyone? Or you can recite from there, wherever you are as well. And all of us will follow. Come on. Anyone? Yes. Surah Fatiha is easy. It's there on the screen as well here. Yes, Bismillah. Yes, go ahead, recite. Please, can we all please recite a salawat for her? Salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Ahsant. Now let's all recite Dua Faraj for Imam of our time and pray that may Allah hasten his zuhur and give us ability to connect with him and be prepared for him. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. اللهم كن وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.